This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain shocking revelations, violence, and sexual themes. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is A God's Dream. It was written by Chris Lackey and Mike Mason, and it can be found in Cults of Cthulhu. Keith Craig is our keeper of arcane lore, and this is episode 2. Our recap will be given by David Gasway as his character, Tobias Jonathan Richards. But before we begin, we do have a new patron. Chris Hogg has pledged a generous $10 a month to our club. Thank you so much, Chris. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. David?
Thank you, Thom. I don't work with the PI Carl Day all that often, but I have found it interesting to do so as a rule, so I was pleased to get a call from him yesterday. And it sounded like a diverting situation. Some house he was investigating had peculiar markings inscribed in it, not an everyday occurrence. Bizarrely, though, about 10 minutes after Carl phoned me, he called Paul, or rather, his doctor did, from the southern tip of Argentina, she said. Carl had been found severely frostbitten and exposed in Antarctica and brought to Argentina for care. He carried with him a strange statuette of some kind that he feared he would be murdered for. Awfully far from Malta for a priceless falcon, I should think. The doctor agreed to ship it to Paul immediately. Now, rationally, Carl cannot be here in town and in southern Argentina at the same time. But the rational mind exists only to hide the extraordinary truth from the minds of the unenlightened. So saddled with this unfathomable mystery, we went into action. We talked our way, mostly, into Carl's office, and found that it had been ransacked. The culprit there, based on the security recording that Paul peeped, looked, well, quite a lot like Carl. It would turn out to be his son. We got from Carl's safe, which had not been located, a file folder and a USB. From these, we got images of an exotic Polynesian text carved into the plaster of a suburban home, and learned that Global Realty, a conglomerate known to operate on behalf of the so-called Church of Perfect Science, has been buying up the houses on a cul-de-sac in Evanston, and the only new tenants are the Watsons, Michael and Barbara. The only tenant to hold out on this buy-out is Diana Chase, who was Carl's client. It was an excellent start for us, but the news from South America is grim. Carl and his doctor both reported dead in supposedly unrelated circumstances.
Okay, all right. Excellent. So you guys had a couple of leads that you were wanting to look into. Grace had been talking about working with the secretary to get into her cloud because she couldn't remember her password because it was stored on her computer. And you're talking about maybe going to the library to research that language, and others were talking about how can we check out this house. So where would you like to go?
Is it still evening or is it the next day?
It's morning. Yep.
It's morning, and we saw that Barbara left the house at around 8 a.m., and the husband didn't leave the house so far as surveillance has shown yet. It'd be nice if they both had jobs that took them out of the house and we could get in there, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Did we
Oh,
all get the news that Carl was killed or passed away? That was right.
Yeah, I mean, we were on the
Yeah, we're
phone
all.
with the doctor when there was some
Yes, we
sort
were.
of
Yeah.
incursion,
um,
and then we
well,
learned that the news report is that they're both dead.
I'm really the muscle, so I can go wherever you want to be. Get somebody a little intimidated. We could look into that church too,
Yeah.
Church of Perfect Science, and see what that's all about. Maybe they can try to recruit me.
Mm. That's something dangerous to consider for farther along, I think. One doesn't want to get, this is the sort of church where they isolate you in a windowless room for part of your training, and they
Yeah.
have
Oh,
security and lawyers, and so it's not like you're walking into the local Baptist.
uh,
You might not come back to us the same guy.
brainwashing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, but it's
Upper.
but it might need you might need to we might need to get
Yeah.
it at some point if we're going to learn what they're up to. I hope it doesn't come to that.
For the time being, it's safe to guess at least that they're unaware of our involvement in this. Whatever leads that they found have been from trashing Carl's office and possibly home. And
Yeah,
Well, hey, you know what? I did hear that certain celebrities have joined that religion. I bet you there's some stuff just at the bookstore on who are the
yeah.
whatchamacallits, the Church of. I can go pick up a couple of those if you want, bring them back here.
Well, it's also since we since it's according to Colleen's ID, it's his son that broke into his office, and therefore probably his home. We might be able to
What
locate him and get some information out of him.
what was his name? Jack?
Jake.
Jake.
Jake, yeah. Now, is he tied up in all this cult shit, or is he just pissed off kid angry at dad?
We don't know
It's a,
anything about him.
the timing is a little
The timing is very
suggestive.
suspect. I was kind of tempted
So,
to drop by the house and see if I could let myself in.
yeah, well, again, we've as long as we've got Grace's camera on the house and we think that it's occupied by the paterfamilias, that's pretty risky. Um, yeah, if we can get a current address for Jake, that might be worth following up. Who knows? Maybe he's joined the Church of the Perfect Wisdom, and then we'd
Why,
have a really solid link.
why don't we talk to that lady that was trying to get strong armed out of into selling
Diana.
her? Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing about that is that if we go to the cul-de-sac and talk to Diana, then we will probably be noticed by
Will be observed.
the new
Well,
tenants.
one of us could go, or like two of
Yeah,
us.
yeah. I mean, we'd probably polite to call her first anyway and say we're working with Carl. He's been called away urgently, probably forever. I mean, I'm hoping vaguely that we can get a hold of the Carl that called me at 1 and not the Carl that showed up at Argentina at 1:10. Uh, but it's a
Whoever that
faint
was.
hope. I'm just gonna go to the University of Chicago library and look through databases of Polynesian languages until I can get a handle on this text.
Got it. Okay. So that's where Tobias is headed to, the university library. How
I'll
about
go with him. I think I can pretty much do my work from anywhere anyway. So
okay, sounds good. All
may
right.
as well use the free Wi-Fi.
That's right. All right. How about the other three?
Well, I'll tag along wherever they want to go.
Yeah. What do you think, Dantel? Should we give Diana a visit or
I'm gonna call
look
her.
for Jake?
I'll call her first, and then we
Okay.
can decide if we
Yeah.
want to break in or if we want to just talk to her.
Even if we hit one of the other empty houses on that block, we could see what's
Very
inside
true.
and if it's got the same type of stuff going on. Broad daylight's a little brave, but on the other hand, it's
Hmm.
still early, and no one else is living there.
It
Okay.
could be that the message extends from one building to another. You know,
Yeah.
the desire to purchase the whole cul-de-sac is a striking thing. And Grace, you can check every hour of the camera and see if the house gets emptied.
Yes,
If
I'll
Michael
let you
leaves
know
too.
if that changes. Yeah.
All
You
right.
know,
All
I
right.
I suppose I could go to the city hall and see if I could find plumbing and plans and stuff. You know, they have
Yeah.
to submit plans for build those houses.
Yeah, that's a good angle.
We'd
Yeah.
know if there was something underground.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's
All
All
these
right.
houses being purchased, it feels like some kind of like project or something. I don't know. It's strange.
There's something intentional about it, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. So Dontel's going to call Diana. Jimmy, you're going to hang out with Dontel.
Yeah, sounds
Paul,
good.
you're going to City Hall to research the info on the house. And Tobias and Grace are going to the library. That sounds excellent. We'll go with Paul first. So you go into City Hall, and yep, it's looks like a big office. He's got beautiful columns, and someone looks up and is like, can I help you?
Oh yeah. Good morning. I need to get the plans for a number of houses that we're thinking on purchasing at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever sewer lines, the location of all the plumbing, the power lines and so forth. I
Okay.
can give you a list.
Oh yeah, there'll be no problem. It's a $10 fee for us to pull
Yeah.
all those records. But
Yep.
um,
And then I need printouts of each of them and yeah, whatever. Probably take you a while. I'll sit out here and wait.
oh yeah. It'll be you'll give me a bit. Way you hand her the addresses. She
Yeah.
she
I'll
kind
get
of
the
looks
whole cul-de-sac.
right. Yeah. She kind of looks at it and she gets a little smile on her face, and then she's like, I'll get you you just want the plans, right?
Yeah, whatever information you have on the
Oh,
properties.
okay. All right. Yep, I will get that for you. It'll take about an hour if you want to go get a coffee or something.
Okay. You seem like you're familiar, or did you have to call to get these same plans?
Oh, no, you're just looking into the house on Brown Avenue. The Rockstar bought that a few about a decade ago. They did a expose on the news about it and all. It's supposedly the haunted house of Chicago.
Wow, I'm really impressed that you remember all of that about that.
Oh well, I'm a big fan of like the ghost hunters and all. They did an episode there, and of course I had to drive by the house and see it and all, and so
Well, is there what was there some malefaction that took place there, or
oh,
I mean, I'd
there's
like to know if there were murders or something.
well, there was. I mean, there's kind of, that's kind of why people think it was haunted and all.
Oh,
At least the ghost hunters. I mean, I enjoyed those shows. I know they're a little cheesy. They kind of go around, they turn off the lights, and suddenly, oh, what's over there? And then they swing the camera over, and there's nothing. But it was enjoyable. My husband, he wanted to, he thought I was silly to go by, but went and saw it. It's neat.
oh well, I mean, if there's any kind of records that show any of that stuff, if you could pull those up for me as well. My client might in fact be not want the publicity of
Oh yeah. Yeah.
famous. What show was that on?
Oh, it was on a Strange Phenomenon.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, no
Uh
problem.
and yeah, I'll be back in a couple of hours.
All right, no problem. Yep. I'll see you then.
And so now I'm probably going to go quickly to the library and see if I can find a copy of this tape or
Hmm.
of strange encounters or whatever she said.
Yeah, phenomena. Yeah.
Strange
All right.
phenomena.
No problem. Okay. Well, just make a library use roll then
Oh, okay.
with a bonus die because you kind of know what you're looking for.
I got 003 then.
All right,
The
sounds good.
bonus dice.
We'll come back to that in just a bit. All right, Dantel. So
Yes, I will call her up.
all right. Um, the phone gets picked up and you hear a older lady's voice. Sounds like she's probably in her 60s or 70s, and she's yes.
Hello. You are Diane, correct?
Diana, who is this?
Diana? Yeah, this is an associate of oh God, what was the private investigator's name again?
Carl
Day.
Day.
Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl. This is an associate of Carl's. My name's Mr. White, and I was wondering if I could talk to you about your house.
Oh, you're working for Carl? Did he find something?
Yeah, well, we've actually found a few things out. However, we think it might be a little bit more serious
Mm-hmm.
than we first thought. So we want to make sure everything is all good on your end and you haven't noticed anything maybe
Yeah.
more severe.
Oh, well, on my end, I mean, like I've been watching those new neighbors that moved in. They have they put on an airs like they're a happy couple, but like they keep having people coming in and out wearing suits, all times during the day. Sometimes
Interesting.
sometimes the husband's there alone and a different woman shows up. I mean, back in my day, that was not looked on very fondly.
Oh yeah, very imprudent.
Mm.
Uh, and we just want to ask about these symbols. Have you noticed any like writing anywhere or
Symbols.
vandalism?
What are you talking
Vandalism on
about?
your house?
Symbols. Uh,
Well, yeah, we just noticed some vandalism of an odd nature on some of the other houses.
oh, well, if that's the case, that's what happens when you have empty houses sitting around. But no, no vandalism on mine. If so, I would let Sweetie Pie go get it. That's my Doberman Pinscher.
Oh, keep her close.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and about your house, can you tell me a little bit about it? Is there anything unusual about it?
Oh, I've lived here going on about 45 years. It's built in the 20s. My husband and I, we started out here, and then I got it from him in the divorce settlement. I raised my kids
Yeah,
here.
well, we certainly know all about that. And about this pressure you've been experiencing to sell, do you know anything about the neighbors that sold or why they might have sold?
Oh, well, I mean, they probably sold a couple of them were they had bought the house when right before the market collapsed, and they were kind of is a good way to get out from under it. And so, and if they're going to offer more money for it, then go for it. But, I almost took it myself, but then I was like, why are they buying all these up? But did they find something? Am I just setting myself up for regret later on that I didn't get some more money out of it? And I have no problem selling the house. I just want to make sure that I get my as much money as possible.
Yeah, with the credit default swaps and everything, it can be a little bit shady, and I think you're right not to sell just yet. Um,
Don, ask her maybe if Carl came back to check on her yesterday.
oh yeah, when's the last time you've seen Carl? Just out of curiosity.
Uh, Last time I talked to Carl was on the 7th.
On the
Yes,
7th.
yeah, it's the 10th today.
Interesting. Yeah, well,
But I mean, he knows his business. he did really good work last time. I understand he can't be checking in all the time.
Yeah, well, he's actually run into some medical trouble.
Oh no.
Yeah, um, he's dead.
What?
I mean, he's he's unfortunately passed away, which is why I'm contact. We're
Oh my
still,
goodness. I gotta sit down.
yeah.
And you hear her start kind of breathing heavily on the other end, and she's
Well,
like, "Oh
well,
my
stay calm,
goodness."
ma'am.
Oh,
Uh, we're still taking on your case, and we're planning
yep.
to investigate it to the fullest extent of.
I mean, I appreciate it, but like I care about this gentleman's, passing and all. When's the funeral? I'd love to come pay my respects.
Um, we don't know yet. It just happened recently, yesterday actually. So,
Yeah. He didn't get shot and the cops got him or something, did they?
oh yeah, they're right outside my building right now. Sorry about
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right. They're on the job, on the job. No, I'm just shocked. I mean, when I saw him, he mentioned he didn't mention a medical problem or anything. I mean, I would have still hired him, he and if he I'm sorry, I'm just flabbergasted.
Yeah, it was very sudden. I think the paper said heart attack or something. He had there was some environmental damage. It's hard to explain, but yeah. So we
Hmm.
just sort of like anything that you told him at the time. We don't really have his case file
Oh, well,
that would be of
well,
importance.
okay,
Just
yeah. Yeah, well, like you said, the person that was going around, the realtor, it was a Dave Sanders of the Global Realty. He was the gentleman that's coming around. He's first he offered me 10%, and then he bumped it up to 15% above market value. But you know, I can tell when a man's getting desperate.
yeah, no, definitely. So Dave Sanders, and he was with Global Realty, correct? Yeah.
That yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, we're suspecting. I'll just let you know what we know right now. We've found the vandalism, as we said,
Mhm.
uh, and we've also figured out that it might be related to this Church of the Perfect Science. Um,
Well, okay. I mean, I go to Baptist. I go every Sunday and every Wednesday. I'm not into all the different denominations and all. I go with the closest ones to God, the ones that use the King James version.
of course, the original text. Yeah, and these people seem a little bit suspicious, so I would just say keep your safety in mind. We'll continue investigating and give you another call if anything comes
Uh,
up.
you make me very nervous. All these stories.
Keep it
Maybe I
warm.
should sell. Just
I mean, that's up to you, ma'am, but
okay.
Maybe ask if we can come over and have a quick look around the neighborhood.
oh yeah,
At
of
the house.
course. Could we maybe come over this afternoon and just take a look around?
Oh, of course, yeah. If
All
you can
right.
bring like some ID, I mean, Carl dying and this Church of Science, I just want to make sure I'm dealing with the right people.
Oh, I understand completely. I'm a veteran myself. Uh,
Oh, God bless you.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Anyway, we'll be over
Oh,
eventually.
okay. All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. Now you put her on edge.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. By the sounds of it, we might want to go over there and have a look. I'm a little afraid now that she's gonna instigate something with them if they come knocking at her door.
Hmm.
Yeah, I might not have handled that perfectly.
Don, you did fine. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. Is we weren't going to be able to hide that forever. I mean, at some point she'd be asking. So
I just believe honesty is the best policy.
All right. All right. So we'll cut over to the university library where Tobias and Grace are doing their research. And Grace, what were you researching? You trying...
I'm working from the library, but I'm trying to get the secretary, like into the
All right.
secretary's
Yeah.
cloud, all that. Yeah.
Give me a computer use.
Let's see. Check what my skill is in that. That is right on the nose.
All right. Yep, you are. It takes you a little bit, but you're able to kind of break in there. Her password you were able to figure out was Fluffy Tail. So
Okay.
all right, so you get it opened up in there. Once you're in there though, she does have like lots of folders organized and all. And I remember what you were wanting to look for was see if there was any information on Carl's son, Jake.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And honestly, just anything that raises my flag about this case, if he had found anything out before he died
Gotcha.
or went missing
Yeah.
or whatever.
All right. Um, on the case, you guys have all the information that he had in his accordion file and all, so you've got all that. For Jake, there is a phone number and an address. It is 2970 North Lakeshore Drive in Lakeview. So, but has all of interest and pertinent that you find in her cloud.
Got it.
And Tobias, you were researching that language?
Yeah, I've got 70 in library and 90 in occult.
Okay.
That's one of those combined jobbies.
Yep.
82. I mean, when
Want to put
so
it?
I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, I want to push it. Is it a matter of time, or do I have to go to some? Maybe I've got to go and talk to somebody about looking at some reserved texts.
Yeah, you'd have to talk to someone about reserved text. If you fail, it's going to you're going to have to actually buy a membership to the restricted section, and so that will cost you $200.
It's a fair number of tarot card readings for cat ladies. 28 is a hard for both.
All right. Okay, so it still takes a little bit of time researching, but once you get into like kind of the older books, they of course have you like make sure that you are you're wearing gloves and all. You find that language was spoken. It was used by a cult in the South Pacific. It saw a resurgence of it in about 1924 up until about 1927, and then it started to die out. What's most curious of all is that there was reports of it on the East Coast out of a town called Innsmouth, but that town was pretty much kind of wiped out in about 1928.
Right. And is it specific to any South Pacific area, and are there lexicons for it?
It was restricted to one South Pacific area, and oh Matt, what's lexicon mean?
Dictionary.
Oh no, they're not really. Not something where you can translate it and all. It was more of a the history of that culture was passed down verbally instead of having a real written language. It was once the Europeans started coming there, they started trying to kind of write it down. It almost looks like it's like a hieroglyphic, but not quite a hieroglyphic language.
And are there photographic samples from the South Pacific island that I can compare to
Sure.
the?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can at least see if the inscriptions match word for word with what I have, which is more likely for a religious style text. Right?
Yeah.
I get to see the same repeating sort of, and that's the case. I'm seeing
Yep.
this looks like something that was carved into stone Do we know how old that culture was, roughly?
Um, Probably, it was there when the Europeans first got there, which I don't know, was like
Right.
1600s.
Yeah, James Cook got there and gave everybody syphilis and
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. And do we know anything about the beliefs of the people in this region? Like
Um,
a deity they worshipped or
yeah,
practices?
there was a couple deities they worshipped. It was it was odd that they worshipped a deity called Dagon because that was also a name of an old Philistine god, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems weird that that would have made it over there. And then a god named Cthulhu.
Um, do I have anything in the mythos? Nope, not a drop. All right, more strange
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
But it is good. It's a link. And so so it was on coastal Massachusetts. There was resurgence for a minute in the 20s, and then that
Yeah.
community.
Kind of
There's news
stopped.
articles about some
Yeah.
governmental action, and
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe
I'm gonna
implications that the government kind of did like what they did to the Japanese in World War II, set up internment camps and all. So,
so I'm gonna switch over to the Church of Perfect Science. Then
okay.
maybe they were founded in the late 20s on the East Coast, for example. That would be a nice link.
All right. Give me another library use.
Regular 39.
All right. The Church of Perfect Science was founded by a Robert Blake. He was a science fiction author that started in the mid uh, mid 30s is when he first started being published in like pulp magazines. However, here's his grand opus, the opening the mind to time and space. It was he said that it came to him in a dream in the late 20s when he was a teenager, and he worked on it for a long time. Talks about if you go onto the Wikipedia to read the summary of it, plot summary of it, talks about how the Earth was seeded by, the alien race that came down here, and that the big god Kutu, he will not return until humanity has evolved to be ready for him to come back. Now, the Church of Perfect Science, they claim that that is just a metaphor for humanity bettering themselves. But some of the people that have left the church argue that no, those are the real beliefs of the church.
Right. So he's overlapping with this resurgence. So this definitely looks like any any possibility these were linked by chance is null and void. The realtor is buying for this church, and they've got a relationship to this building, and that's the only one that's been occupied by these bland people. All right.
Yep. And there is a large public facility for the church here in Chicago on Washington Street.
And I'm guessing that they've also got, there's already been an allusion to people who left the church outing their beliefs as being pretty wacky.
Yeah.
Are they plagued by allegations of wrongdoing, and are they notably litigious?
Oh, yes, very litigious. And they sue a lot of people. There was a actress that got out that released a TV show on the Science Network about it.
So that'll make soothing watching this evening before Betty by,
Mhm.
I'm sure. All right, I'm going to check in with the others.
All
Got some
right.
stuff.
Okay. All right, Paul, you come back. She has the plans for you.
Okay. Did I find
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
videotape?
Sorry, yeah. You did, and I've got kind of like the transcript here of it. It's a little bit long, but also
Okay. Well, I'll present it when I get back with everyone.
okay. Sounds good. All right. And then she's got the blueprints for it. The neighborhood looks like it was built in the 20s. That
Yeah.
that particular house was built in 1928. Yep.
All right. I gather all of that together. I pay the woman. I thank her very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I head on back.
Okay. All right. So we'll unless you guys want to do something else, we'll say you guys kind of congeal back into a common location.
Is there anything I can find out about the son at all?
You got his address and his phone number, but besides that,
Nothing. Okay.
yeah, he's kept his name out of the papers.
Is
Got
he
it.
Chicago local?
Yeah.
He
Well,
is. Yeah.
yeah, Chicago area. Yeah.
Yep.
So I've got all of the blueprints for everything, and the woman seemed to recognize the house we were talking about, said it's a haunted house, and that it's actually been investigated by haunted house people. I've got all the plans and everything, and I guess there has been some weird background stuff, but I got the videotape if you guys want to watch it.
So would
Might be
that be
worth
Diana's
getting the
neighbor?
background info on. Sorry, Jimmy, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, sorry. I would that be 1425? Like, would that be Diana's neighbor? Yeah.
Yeah. So if we find out that people walk into the basement of the house and suddenly end up in Antarctica, then we'll have solved that ghostly mystery.
Well, she's been there
Well,
for 45 years. She was there when the notorious resident was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that gives us another interesting angle too. If we happen to be maybe in the area, maybe end up in one of these houses, we can just simply say we're ghost hunters, and that's what we're there for.
All right. Um, so you want to pull up the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Here is a summary of it.
All right. House of Horror Remembered. Long regarded as the most haunted house in Chicago, the two-story property standing at 1424 Brown Avenue in Evanston remains something of an enigma and a beacon for ghost hunters. With Halloween approaching, readers may recall the house's long and sad history. The house, built in 1928, was said to have been designed by Remember Fletcher. Local folklore says Remember fled Massachusetts to escape accusations of witchcraft, but it seems she brought her spellbooks and cauldron with her to Illinois. Over the 30 years she lived on Brown Avenue, Fletcher's house was a source of spooky lights and weird noises and a place locals stayed away from lest they be cursed by a spell. When Remember died in 1958, some said she had suffered a heart attack when summoning a devil in a midnight ceremony, although the coroner's records are a little more down to earth, giving old age as the cause. With the passing of Remember Fletcher, the house continued to have a less than happy history. Purchased in 1959 by Ken and Sharon Lawson, calamity came to the new owners after only a few months, with Mrs. Lawson reported to the police as missing in April 1960. The loss of his wife is believed to have driven Mr. Lawson mad with grief, and he was committed to the Chicago State Hospital, better known these days as the Chicago Read Mental Health Center. But even greater horror was to come. Just a few months later in 1960, the property was sold to a retired school principal and his wife, whose fates would seal the house's reputation as a place most folk would want to steer clear of, as in early 1961, the school principal's wife viciously stabbed her husband to death and then slit her own throat. The house remained empty for some 10 years until purchased by the Bentley family, who again found no joy inside its walls. Allegedly, the Bentleys fled the house after just a month due to a rising tide of unexplained events caused by what they said were demonic spirits. Again, the property stood abandoned for a decade till in 1978, a Mrs. Alex Bellington moved in. After 3 weeks, she suffered a massive heart attack and died. She was just 55 years old. Given the deaths and misery associated with the house, the firm in charge of selling it needed help, as no one wanted to buy it. People said it was haunted and that anyone who lived there would come to a bad end, and the historical facts seemed to bear that out. So in 1980, Glenn Phillips from the University of Chicago was brought in to conduct experiments inside the house. The notable parapsychologist said, when contacted by this newspaper, that he had recorded a series of strange phenomena in the house, from unaccountable sounds and lights to sudden temperature fluctuations. He even described episodes of missing time, which even now continue to trouble him. Mr. Phillips said he was glad to leave Brown Avenue and never return. For the following 13 years, the house remained unsold, but continued to attract the attention of psychics, magicians, and academic researchers. While little is known of their findings, presumably as these amounted to little, one such researcher's fate was awful. Tina Yardley, a self-proclaimed psychic, spent a mere 10 minutes inside the property before dropping dead of a brain aneurysm. Following the unfortunate demise of Tina Yardley, even researchers stayed away from Brown Avenue. But in 1993, Devin Razor brought the property back to the public's consciousness when he purchased it to hold wild parties and seances. Readers may recall the publicity surrounding the shock rocker and his elaborate and bloody stage shows. While Razor is said to have never made the house his home, he often spent time there with friends and groupies. Accounts of these days in Razor's autobiography, Bloody Razors, speak of weirdness in the house, but most significant is the musician's belief that he contacted the spirit of the house's designer, Remember Fletcher. Razor relates befriending Fletcher's ghost and that she would instruct him in the dark arts. Whether Razor actually contacted the other side or if this was all just another of his well-known publicity stunts remains to be determined. Either way, he sold the house in 2004 to Brian and Heather Jensen. Unfortunately, the Jensens, like many before them, did not fare well once they moved in. In December of that year, police were called to the property when the Jensens failed to show up at work and on arrival discovered a severed head in the entrance hallway. A severed hand in the entrance hallway. On inspection, no trace of the Jensens could be found and they remain listed as missing persons. Later, forensic analysis confirmed the severed hand belonged to Brian Jensen. Now the house on Brown Avenue is quiet. No one lives there anymore, and none are likely to, given its history. So be careful this Halloween and keep away from the House of Horror.
And then the rest of that was like the intro, and then the rest of the video is them going in there, and it's your typical ghost hunter show.
So from the blueprints of all these things, do they have basements?
They do have a basement. It's like just almost like a little crawl space underneath it, but so it's not quite a full dug out basement. It's enough to get below the freeze line, essentially.
That is a kill count higher than some serial killers.
It's all coincidence, terrible coincidence, but
I don't know. Some of that.
Well, you got a city as big as Chicago. I mean, some houses are going to be unluckier than others, even though it's like you said, coincidence.
What are the
is there like a
chances
sewer, or is there anything in the city planning where there's like access to the sewer, like a big sewer pipe going through? Or
well, I'm sure it's connected to the city sewer and all, but those pipes are.
Well, right, yeah.
I feel like usually cul-de-sacs are the sort of thing where they get laid out and somebody designs the whole thing. Right? They're not usually piecemeal. It's like that's a planned development. So did Remember Fletcher design, are the houses the same?
They are similar, but it's an older neighborhood, so they each have their own little personality and all.
Yeah.
built back then, probably before any architectural controls really set
It's
in.
not until the 50s where you see everything is the same cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that Diana Chase lived across the street from
From all
Devon
this.
Razor for several years without like just living at the
Complaining.
police station.
Well, she kept Carl busy for a while there, but never about that.
I
So
really want to say a number of times, what was the name of the woman who originally designed it? Oh, remember.
It's one that sticks with you.
Mhm.
So she comes from Massachusetts around the same time that a cult in Massachusetts that used this language was dissolved.
Wow.
So it seems like that connection is clear. And then the science fiction writer
Robert
has
Blake.
has an alien entity whose name is like the name of the god that the Polynesians worshipped. So he's clued into the same thing. Now, it might be, and this does not help us get anywhere near
Anything's good right
Antarctica,
now. Yeah, Antarctica's out there in the middle.
but Carl was concerned that people were after him because of the statuette. His apartment and office were ransacked. The caller on the telephone when you after the doctor was assaulted wanted identity for us, and the statuette's going to arrive tomorrow, Paul, at your apartment or PO box. Where do you have it sent?
Yeah.
It should be coming to my home.
So essentially, it looks like there's an extremely eccentric quasi-religious organization with deep pockets and the willingness to do violence that thought they were going to find a cultic artifact somewhere on the cul-de-sac and then got involved with hassling Carl for it.
Now,
So
just to be clear, when he called you, he was on his way there, wasn't he?
he didn't specify where he was going, sadly.
He said
He
somebody
just
grabbed him, they dragged him into a house, and then
Okay.
suddenly he was in Antarctica.
So the question is, did he get the statue here before he went to Antarctica, or did it come from some site in Antarctica?
Yeah, I don't know, but he's sending it to me. And the thing is that if we go by what we've been told, then he was snatched at 10 a.m. or no, at 1 a.m.
Early-
or 1 p.m.
1 p.m., yeah, early afternoon.
And 10 minutes later, he was 2 days before, because he was in Antarctica for 2
A
days.
full 2 days first, yeah.
in Antarctica, but then found and then transferred to Argentina and hospitalized. So
And
it
I
could
asked
be
the
3 days
doctor,
or
I asked the doctor, and she said the statue was weird looking. And it was about the size, she said about the size of your forearm. So
I'm sure her forearm and your forearm look very different, but
We're agreed, right, that this death and stuff isn't a coincidence in Argentina. Like, that's got to be connected to this somehow.
he thought they were willing to kill for it.
And so somehow they found him there.
well, maybe they somehow sent him there. But now that statue's on its way to my place. And you know what? It should be there today, because they said they were going to try to send it overnight.
She told you this morning it'd be there tomorrow.
Yeah, it was this morning that we called Argentina again.
And how does the son fit into all of this? I mean, he raided his father's office. Like, is he a piece of this as well? Does he know something? Maybe it has nothing to do with it. I don't know. I mean, I have an address and a number for him. I guess we could at least call and ask him what he was trying to reach his father about.
I'm just
mean,
hoping that they didn't get my address out of the doctor.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that's
know that
a
I'd go home, Paul, honestly.
We got to get that statue somehow. I
well,
don't
not
think we
Well,
alone.
yeah, like go home to pick it up, but like don't go home to stay.
can.
What time does your mail normally arrive? I guess we don't know how they shipped it. It could be FedEx or anything. It can't be USPS, so it's
Right.
probably
DHL
FedEx
or
is the most
something.
international.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
FedEx,
or
DHL,
DHL.
maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you have
Um,
a tracking number from a phone call from a hospital in Argentina from a woman who's about to be murdered in a fake car accident.
I could ask.
Well, we'll have to stick at your house tomorrow.
I won't lie,
Yeah.
I'm kind of itching to get in the neighborhood and check these houses out, but I'm also wondering if we should be waiting to do that till we have the statue in possession. Maybe it somehow tells the rest of the story of what we're going to find, or I don't know, any.
And why does the church want every house in the cul-de-sac when only one of them has magic runes inscribed? Maybe they all do.
And by the sound of it, they already have that house. So it's
That's the house.
Diana's is the only one they don't have.
Yeah.
So
Maybe they're just buying up a bunch of houses for their church leaders to live near each other or something. It's weird.
Well, if
is
they're
the-
going to make a shrine out of that place.
so am I understanding what you're thinking is that this old witch moved to that house and she was a worshiper of those weird Philistine gods or whatever you said.
Some remnant of this cult.
And
Tobias
then
explained.
and then Robert Blake, the author, made a religion that had to do with that same deity or something like it. And now that
Inspired by
church
it.
wants.
What do we know about the Church of Perfect Science? Do any of us know anything about this church? What do they worship?
That
What's their
movie
deal?
stars in it who just had the movie come out.
They just, I guess they worship whatever's in that book. We should get that book,
Yeah.
that Robert Blake book, and read it.
What is the Robert Blake filmography? I mean, bibliography. Did he publish one science fiction book and then start writing fake religious texts?
He wrote 5 science fiction books. They all kind of follow, the opening of the opening the mind to time and space. They kind of follow the group, and you can find this on Wikipedia without any problem. And each one, it talks about how humanity's getting closer and closer to being able to welcome back Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, yeah.
And then the last one, they're able to welcome him back.
You see them in the used bookshops occasionally in the sci-fi section. They themselves, not even clear whether he meant to put this all in action when they first wrote it as just a idea for a goofy story, right?
That's what I was going to ask. Is he just like another L. Ron Hubbard that our religion springs up out of nonsense that he wrote as a sci-fi story?
Precisely.
I mean, okay, so far there's 2 theories that I have that explain everything.
Everything.
We
And
talked
both of
about
them-
gummies.
But both of them are far-fetched, I'll admit that. So the first one, he's kidnapped by the science church, taken to Antarctica, and like brain wiped or something. But that's done like in the future, and he like time travels back, and that's how he's beamed back here. And then the other theory is he goes through a wormhole, gets there like instantly or something. And then those are the 2 theories I have.
I stayed up late enough watching your YouTube videos last night that I can almost believe that, but I don't know.
Well, there's an interesting thing. If there is such a thing as time travel, then it would be nice to be able to go back and warn him so that he doesn't get kidnapped in the first place.
Yeah,
It's
I'm honestly.
It's
Go ahead,
probably like a
Tom.
wormhole or something, though. It's like not controllable, unstable.
Well, again, we have this dubious religious movement, but it's inspired by somebody who's inspired by this Polynesian religious movement, and he writes about opening your mind to time and space. And then there's this artifact, right? This statuette that's of great value to the cult. And Robert Blake maybe eventually. Oh, I guess we need to look up his biography, how long he lived, where he died. Seems odd he never bought this house, and they're only getting to it now. But it has a reputation as haunted, not as magical, I guess.
Weird things happen in it, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean,
He died in 1971.
Tobias, you're
That was
a student of the occult. I think that looking up this remembrance, she sounds kind of famous. I never heard
Oh,
of her.
remember Fletcher?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're going to learn a lot about her other than it's not a coincidence that she fled Massachusetts around 28.
So was she a Salem witch, maybe?
I think she's part of the Innsmouth cult that he was talking about.
Yeah, that's when Innsmouth was destroyed. And she's got one of those puritanical style names.
Yeah. The only reference I've ever heard of Innsmouth is like in reference to people fucking their sisters and brothers and inbreeding or incest.
The Puritan bloodlines were pretty not a deep well.
Habsburgs.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
So we want to get in the house, but Mike is in the house.
Yeah, and I am periodically checking to make sure that it.
Yep, you see him every once in a while come out onto the front porch, sit down, sip his coffee, then go back in.
And
Is Barbara? Go ahead.
The Watson house is the house.
Yeah. That's the one.
Well, we just have to wait a couple of days and they'll be dead.
And
then we'll just take over the house, according to that article.
Or these people are like some high and mighty muckety mucks in the Church of Perfect Science, and they're doing whatever it is they want to do.
Well, that's why there'd be suits and strange women dropping by.
Do we know where she works?
Was she on LinkedIn?
I really couldn't find much about them.
I mean, they're
also strange. No online presence is a little
super
weird.
bland names, though.
I was going to say to the keeper, as this is all going on between us, at some point I am going to create a fake profile on Facebook and follow Diana Chase. I'm going to request to follow her, and I just want to keep tabs on, and it'll be something like
you want to follow Diana Chase? Okay.
Yeah, True Believer as the name or something like that, or vaguely religious.
Okay. Give me a luck roll.
Okay. Was not very good. Maybe she's become a little bit wary. Yeah. Nope, not a chance.
Yeah, you find her profile, but like maybe she doesn't log in and she doesn't take friend requests and all. Yeah.
Anyone else you think we should keep tabs on? Could try Dave Sanders.
Yeah, I'd like to look up Dave Sanders, another bland name, and I think Paul, you and Jimmy maybe should go up and visit Jake Jr.
Yeah.
Because why is he busting? I mean, if he broke into the office, he probably broke into the apartment. They're estranged. Did he get recruited by the church? Because we're going to want to check into the other houses, but we're probably going to do that under cover of darkness. Because I have a feeling that Mike and Barbara are situationally aware. And there's a question of how much danger Diana Chase is in. I mean, I'm sure they want that house. They can go more than 15% above market. Are they just going to start leaving things in her garden until she sells? And why do they need all five? Five and a ring.
Kind of a horseshoe.
Pentagram or
pentagram, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
starfish.
Starfish.
It's like a.
Except the road goes out at the bottom, so it's like not,
You guys are gonna think I'm a bit crazy here, but in my trunk right now. Last night, after doing some of the YouTube stuff and thinking about this, I actually grabbed my winter coat and mittens and gloves and stuff, and I kind of think that we might all want to consider that before we do make a visit to the
Oh,
house.
To be fair, it is December in Chicago, so
Okay,
you
yeah,
probably
okay.
have
So yeah, we're warmly dressed. Okay,
you're not crazy for having to go.
okay. A long wave radio might be useful as well. Something.
you're afraid that we're going to suddenly end up in Antarctica.
I'm terrified. This is crazy. This is none of this makes
What's the
sense.
date, Keith?
It is
December
December
10th.
10th. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So where are we headed to?
I do think maybe we'll go look for Jake.
Okay.
Before we do though, speaking of bodies dropping dead and stuff, I got this bottle of whiskey here from this was Carl's favorite, and I know not all of us have known Carl for a long time, but hearing about our old acquaintance's passing, I thought we should maybe have a quick drink to his memory,
All right.
and I'll pour a few shots and spread them to everyone. And
What
Uh,
what whiskey is this?
you know what? And he looks at the bottle, and what is it? What would his favorite?
Is it a
wild
Scotch
wild
Bruichladdich?
turkey.
Yeah,
Old
well,
number
yeah,
7.
yeah, there you go. Okay, so
Burns.
it's a little rough.
Tastes like
It's-
turpentine.
Okay. All right. So Jimmy sounds like you were going to go visit Jake's address.
yeah.
Okay, how about-
I'd be happy to have Paul come along.
I'll
with me.
go with Jimmy. Yeah.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
have to cut him
Let's
off.
work my way down here. Tobias, what were you planning on doing?
I want to let the toughs take care of the toughs. Race.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should go and visit the offices of Global Realty and inquire into properties in Evanston?
I think that sounds like a valid use of time. Sure.
You almost
Okay.
might be better if you picked a house like on the next block or something like that and saw it because if they're only buying up, maybe you act like you're interested sellers.
Yeah.
See how wide their reach
I
is.
like the idea, Tobias. I'm with you.
Okay. And Dontel, what were you planning on doing?
I want to go to the house, but I'm not really sure.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'll just go to. I'll go visit the
Walmart.
neighbor across the street.
Diana Chase or the Watsons? Which name?
Yeah, Diana Chase. 'Cause
Okay. All right.
and I'll bring some. I'll bring like
Documentation.
some ID or something, or like
Got
some
it. Yeah,
thing that
that's
Carl
right.
gave me, just to
That's
make
right.
sure she knows I'm
Okay.
in with Carl.
Copy. All right, Paul and Jimmy. So you pull up the address 2970 North Lake Shore Drive in Lakeview. You when you get in there, you start noticing the houses get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the address it gets you to the end of a driveway that has a large gate in front of it with like the wrought iron spikes at the top. And it has an intercom system out, and if you can barely see a mansion, kind of like because the driveway kind of curves once you get through
Right.
the gate, and it's got all kinds of trees and stuff kind of blocking you being able to see it from the road.
Shit, Paul, that place that Carl was living in was a dump, and here his kid is maybe.
Well, maybe his kids made it big, but maybe we should. What's our premise? Are we going to go up and tell him that his dad's dead? I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
reason to walk up to somebody's house.
It is, but it also might give him a cover to get rid of us if he's grieving and besides that, if he is involved in this, then he already knows. So maybe we should let him lead a little bit.
Oh, maybe that would tell us something.
And
Yeah.
maybe we say
Yep.
that Maybe we say that we're aware that he was seen at the apartment building.
All right. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you think? Try that and see where he goes from there, and we can lead into that his father's passed. But I think that might be a chance for him to end the conversation and get away from us if we, I don't know. Let's
Well, I
try it.
mean, we can't predict what he's going to
There's
do.
there's the other chance that he, as soon as he sees us, he bolts and tries to run, and we have to beat the hell out of him. So
All right. Um, so you buzz the intercom.
Yeah.
yeah,
Plus,
yeah.
A voice comes on and goes, "Who's this? You have an appointment?"
No appointment, but maybe we'd like to speak to Mr. Jake Day.
Um, Jake Day, what's this in regard to? If you're looking for some information, I suggest you go to the visitor center out in downtown.
Oh, well, we have some news about his father.
Oh, I didn't realize that his father was still around. He doesn't ever talk about him.
Are you a
Um,
coworker of Jake's?
Yep, we work together.
Oh, well.
I'm Greg.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, this is Jimmy. Just saying, what actually had we were under the impression this was a residence. It sounds more like a business.
Well, we live here. But you know, like I said, if you're want to make an appointment, go down to downtown and they'll take care of you there. Jake can make an appointment. He's not here right now.
okay.
Where is it we'd find him downtown?
46 West Washington.
6
All right.
West Washington.
Um, yeah, tell him that some people were looking for him. I'm a
Jimmy, and what was your name, sir?
Paul. It's not good news.
Okay, all right. I'll let him know. He'll probably need to be processed if it's not good news. Calm him down. But
Yeah, you're with the church,
of course, yes, the Church of Perfect Science.
so that's where that is your facility downtown is where we can find him.
Exactly.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Thought it was the church.
Damn it. As we get
Yeah.
back to the car and out of earshot of that, say, damn, Paul, he's part of it.
Yeah, he sounds like he's the fucking leader of it.
So did he know this before his dad started stumbling into this stuff, or is that just a coincidence? Maybe the others just knew he was the perfect guy to break into the office.
I don't know. I think he's tied into it way more than we imagined. I think he might be the leader. And maybe old Carl was not really involved. Um, I don't want to go down to their recruitment center. I didn't think he was going to be like one of the leaders.
Yeah,
But if that's his house, holy shit.
then he's bringing in money. Damn it.
He's the Ernest Angsley of the Church of.
What if we go downtown and we just scope the place out from a distance and keep an eye on it? Maybe we spot him heading out to get a coffee or something and we can follow him in or something.
Yeah, maybe. We know what he looks like. We've seen his picture now.
Yep.
Why would he go in there and trash the office, though? I mean, he must have been looking for something. Probably that
If
statue.
he's a cult leader, you'd think he'd have people to do that for him. I don't know. Something about this doesn't make sense. Like maybe as he realized his dad was becoming an obstacle to the cult and tried to handle it on his own without them knowing, or
I've known Carl for years. I don't think he was involved in any kind of religious
yeah,
nonsense.
Carl no, but Jake maybe. I don't know.
So, oh, boy, we'll talk about it as we go. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it did like you know, I mean, how does the statue get in Carl's hands when if Jake had the statue?
One thing we got to watch now, and it's a mistake Guy let us into, is that we did give him our names, that Greg. So we could
I gave
expect
him our
them
first
out.
names. That's all.
Yeah, true.
There's a
Yeah.
million Pauls and Jimmys in the world.
But so as time goes on, their awareness of us is going to keep growing higher and higher as we poke at it.
Well, I bet you now, if that guy in there calls them down in that's why I don't want to go downtown. I mean, we can go downtown and scope them out, but I don't want to walk up to that facility.
All right.
Because then they'll know that we're coming.
I wouldn't do
I don't
that.
like the fact that the GM is giggling right now.
It's a nervous laugh. All right, so we'll cut over to Tobias and Grace. Okay, so you find Global Realty. It's in downtown Chicago, also on Madison Street. And it's it has a big thing, established. Do the math. 1995. And when you assume you go in. Yep.
Yeah, on the drive over, we're figuring out our story. Do we want to be a married couple? Are we looking to sell or buy? I mean, we want to talk to Dave Sanders, but we don't want to be obvious about it.
I think there's more thinking on the fly if we're talking about selling, right? Because then we need to make up an address and all this other stuff. If we just want to say we're looking for someone to show us around homes, this is the neighborhood we're interested in, etc. There's a little bit less of that.
All right.
Do we want to present, well, I don't know. Like, do you want to kind of come across as, a little weirdo, folks that would be interested in a house with like weird history? Some folks, it's like they want that kind of stuff, right?
Sure, and that means I don't have to go and change into square person clothes.
We want a house with character, with history, with something interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But we're looking for a neighborhood that's got better schools because we're thinking of the future. And so we're looking to find a cool place in the suburbs. That's good. And when we want, and a friend of ours worked with Dave Sanders. Yeah. And, so if he's around, he knows, we think he knows the area.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. So you show up. It looks like a realtor's office. There's a few realtors attached to this. The secretary greets you, and she's like, buying or selling?
Buying.
Buying. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It's always exciting to become a homeowner.
Yes, we're very excited.
Did you have a realtor or did you have a realtor you wanted? Maybe someone had referred you to us, or just get you or get you one. We have three here.
Well, we're definitely interested in the Evanston area, and some friends of ours found a place through, what was his name? Samuel Sanford.
Oh, Sanders,
yes,
Dave.
That's what it was.
Oh, he's here. She picks the phone. She's like, "Hey, Dave, we've got some clients here." And then one of the door opens, and a guy in his probably a young 40s. He kind of comes out. He's very exuberant. And he's like going, "Oh, wonderful to meet you, Dave Sanders."
Very happy to meet you. I'm
good. Very good to meet you. I'm Margaret. This is my partner, John.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. He's like, come into my office. We'll see what we can do. I'll pull up some of the houses that are available. When you come into his office, he's got it's decorated. A couple of things you see there. He's got a table off to the right that's got some pamphlets on it. It's like going, are you looking to for meaning in your life? And underneath it says, don't trust psychiatrists or their drugs. And then he also has a science fiction picture up from the movie released in the 2000s. It was a big bomb. People said it had too many Dutch angles in it, but it was opening up the yeah.
I'll pick up one of the pamphlets and like nod my head, like,
Oh,
that's right. Mm-hmm.
you want to look at the pamphlet?
Sure. And
Okay.
I've got like this like look of agreement on my face, like,
All
oh,
right.
he's
Let me
speaking the
pull.
truth.
Let me pull that up for you. Oh, this is the outside of the
Oh.
pamphlet.
What is perfect science? How do I start? The Church of Perfect Science has welcome centers in many countries and cities. Our guides will be delighted to help you find the success you deserve. Your nearest welcome center is in this city, Chicago, and you can find it at West Washington Street. And then on the back, what is perfect science? For generations, humanity has been seeking the answers to understand our place in the world and the universe. Perfect science is applying certain tried and trusted techniques to find those answers. In doing so, you will find your true purpose, reach personal success, and find the pathway to enlightenment. The perfect science process was invented and developed by our founder, Roger Blake, PhD. His goal was to help mankind, and his work is the basis for helping you to find your truth and enjoy the bounty of success. Perfect science brings together ancient wisdom that has been forgotten and lost and combines it with modern day science to enable you to find personal liberation, self growth, financial success, and the answers to the mystery of life. How can I get better? Perfect science uses a safe, thoroughly researched, highly developed yet simple process to help our members cast off life's challenges and be all they can be. Our fully trained life guides will assist you to clear your mind of negativity and change unwanted behaviors that are stopping you from reaching your total potential and finding personal and financial reward. As you progress through the process, your negativity levels will automatically diminish, opening your mind to endless positivity and the means to throw off the mental weights that keep you from success. Perfect science does not use drugs or any dubious mental techniques like so many other self-proclaimed self-help therapies. We use only tried and trusted science, safe and proven to help.
All right. And while you were kind of looking at that, you see he's kind of nodding and he gets this smile on his face. He's like, are you interested? I am an active member of the of that church. I mean, I know you were here to buy, but couldn't help but
Well,
notice.
we're in a transitional phase right now. We just
Mhm.
found out we're expecting this all these big
Oh,
changes going on, and it's just, change. Maybe it's time for some changes, don't you think, John?
Oh, absolutely, Margaret. I couldn't have said it better.
oh,
I mean, certainly, we came here because it's going to be a long exploration process, right? To try to find a new home. But, giving up the hassles of renting for the
mhm.
responsibilities of ownership, it's all part of this, this new situation.
It
Um,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, like buying a home, expecting a baby, those are all stressful events. And, the process will help drain the negativity out of you. If you come by the center, they'll give you a test and they'll test out your levels of stress. It's painless. It works great. I know you're not here for it, but uh Tim Caruso, he swears by it. He's the star of that action series, Operation Impractical.
Oh, yes, I love those movies.
Yeah, phenomenal. Does his own stunts and
Hmm.
everything. That's
Hmm.
because he's not stressed. That's why he can do it.
Also, why doesn't he ever get older?
Ugh.
I
This is
mean,
crazy, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
yeah,
amazing. Yeah. Hmm.
wow.
But you were here to talk about houses and all. I hope to see you. Hope you see that. Hope to see you at the
Yeah.
welcome center. But
Well,
business first.
we'll certainly be taking that pamphlet because that's
Oh, you're more than welcome for it. I have plenty, and I can always get more.
so starter home.
Yeah, we have like I'm assuming I'm assuming a couple of bedrooms and bathrooms since you're with child.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Something in a good neighborhood, good schools. But
Mm.
John, he teases me, but I just like a house with character, not just a
Oh.
boring that, something with a history to it.
So before the Levitt towns came along,
Exactly.
oh yeah, yeah. Like, well, and he starts kind of typing into his computer. Any neighborhoods you were looking at, like close to work?
Oh gosh, John,
Well,
what was it? I think you had one in mind, right?
I was thinking about Evanston because there's a lot of
Hmm.
green space and there's some,
Oh.
it's not a newer suburb, it's pre-war. So
Hmm.
again, the houses have those old bones.
Oh yeah, he's like going, well, yeah, we've got a few up there, it's not available, but it is by the old haunted house, if you believe in that kind of stories and all. But
I mean, that's not a very perfect science, but I do like character. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
um,
who doesn't like a good ghost story now and then, though? They're all in good fun.
so what sort of streets are we talking about?
Oh well, we be over, and he names a couple, and they're like a block or two away from
Mhm.
the Brown Avenue. Mhm.
Yeah, so starter, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath even would be fine because I mean, we're gonna see how the first one goes before we have a giant family.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Well, if you join the church, not that I'm trying to proselytize, but we do have a wonderful babysitting program where we can help, bring them up right rather than, in the ways of the world and where they get hooked on Ritalin and all the other
well, and
See, that's what we're
childcare
looking,
these days.
community. That's what
Mhm.
we're looking for, a community, and absolutely
Meg's totally right.
children these days. It's
Right.
insane.
Yeah. Good. Good. Excellent. Well,
Can you show us something later in the week? Or maybe
oh
a couple
yes,
of places around
of
there?
course, of course, of course. Yeah, no problem at all.
All right. I'm at 555 five
Mhm.
five five 6243.
All right, thank you. Yeah, and he gives you his card also.
Brilliant.
Mhm.
Um,
And if you can just tell him if you do go, I know you just got me so excited looking at that pamphlet. Just tell him that I sent you in there, and he's like, here, I'll even write it on my name on the pamphlet if you don't mind.
Of
If you
course,
need
please.
if you want to get another one that keep it pristine, that'd be fine. It's like Dave Sanders. I'm not saying that my name carries weight, but I am a level 4.
oh,
Ooh, now
so
that sounds important.
it's not deacons, I guess, because it's science. So you don't
That's right.
use old time. And
That's right.
would you say it's compatible with Christianity or Judaism or?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're not claiming to be, trying to replace another religion or anything. No, 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 no. We just want to help people awaken the inner beauty of the mind and stop suppressing it with all these chemicals. And Freud was, I mean, for lack of a better term, he would have been the Antichrist with all of his psychology that he was trying to push on people. It's awful.
Well, a nonsense like an Oedipal crisis or whatever,
Yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
sex-obsessed European
Oh,
oddness.
oh, you'll fit right in there, John.
Well, it's been great to meet you. Is it Dave or David?
It's Dave.
Been great to meet you, Dave. Thanks for the autograph.
Mhm.
And
Oh
we'll
yeah,
what one of the first of these addresses on Thursday is good.
yeah. That'll work.
Thank you
Excellent.
so much.
Oh, no problem.
Fantastic.
Thank you. It's like going in. I'll keep running the numbers. I'll try and get you a decent amount on how much your payments would be and all, with principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So
Well, if it's a good deal, I won't say no to a haunted house if it's,
yeah, that one
discount.
that one's already off the market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we'll cut over to Dantel. So
Yes.
you give me a luck roll.
All right. Hopefully the sirens do not come back.
It's all
They
right.
they just turned off just now, so that's good. Oh, 20.
Okay.
I think that is a hard, and
All
that's
right.
really
Okay.
bad luck.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So you pull up to 1425 Brown, which is Diana's home. You still see the one vehicle that's been in 1424's driveway is still there. And yep. What would you like to do?
All right. I don't know if I already checked. Oh, well, I guess we already know it's part of that weird cult, so I don't have to check for any bumper stickers or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna try to get as good of a look with, not grainy footage as I can with my own eyes at the house opposing the one that I'm going to before I
Okay.
go in.
Give me a spot hidden.
All right. Oh, my spot hidden is not good. Ooh, I could spend. No, my luck's low. Yeah, I failed.
Okay. Yep. Um, yeah. It looks like a house. Yeah, but nothing odd about it stands out. You're muted.
Sorry. I'm gonna head
That's
into the opposite house then,
okay.
House of Diana.
Yep. When you knock on the door, this old lady comes up. She's got kind of like the beehive hairdo, a very large pearl necklace, and she's like, "Yes."
Hi, we talked on the phone earlier today. I was wondering. Oh, and I brought something that Carl sent me.
She
Um,
kind of
Shame what
adjusts
happened
her
to him.
vibe. Yes, yes, it was quite the shock. It was. He was he seemed like a good man.
Yeah, we've worked together before, and that's why he called me up just to. Uh, Actually, I was on this case right before he died, so
Oh,
I just
oh.
wanted to, continue it just to honor his memory. Even.
Well, come in.
Yes, I will
Yeah.
enter.
All right. Just bring you in. Yeah, it's an older woman's house. It's got plastic on the couches and candy dishes. Okay. Like,
I'm gonna, I'm gonna,
what kind of, yeah.
I'll take a Tootsie Roll.
All right, yeah, yeah. They all stick together like they always did at my grandma's
Oof.
house. So yeah. All right. So, what can I do for you?
Well, we were just doing some research earlier today, and we didn't realize that the house across from you is supposedly haunted.
Oh, well, yeah, if you put stock into that and all, I know that rock star that bought it, he that's why they say he bought it because it was haunted and all. Fortunately, he only came to town every once in a while because he seemed not the type of person that you'd want in a family neighborhood.
Did you know him or any of the other previous tenants, even the woman who lived there before him?
Oh yeah, I talked to a couple of, and I didn't talk to him. He was in and out, and anytime he was there, he's always with some unsavory people.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But what about the woman who lived there before him, who unfortunately the family who ended up dying? Did you
Oh
know them at all?
yes, I knew, and yeah, it was the real shame, like kill your husband and cut your own throat. It's horrible.
And did they seem disturbed at all?
Uh, Not when I first met him, but I don't think they were getting. I don't think they were getting much sleep. They just seemed to look more and more tired.
Hmm.
I'd go out there and I'd tell him, I was like, going, you can work yourself to death, but yeah, what good is that if you're not around to enjoy it?
Interesting. And
But I
this,
imagine they were probably on drugs. That's why she did it. Druggies can keep that kind of covered up quite well.
oh yeah, definitely. Um, this is kind of a weird question, but it might be related to the lead paint or whatever. But have you had any weird dreams lately or ever?
Oh, weird. Well, of course I've had weird dreams, but like lately, um, no, not really. The weirdest dream I remember was like I woke up and there was like a blue light shining in my window. And at first I thought it might have been the police, but no, it was coming from the house across the street and out of the attic. But what was weird about it was the house was empty at the time.
Now that
Then
is interesting.
yeah, but I kind of you know looked away, looked back, and it wasn't there, and I assumed like I must have just imagined it and have been maybe sleepwalking or something.
It was probably just some like undigested onion cooking up in the stomach.
Exactly. That's what Scrooge said when he saw the ghosts.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it seems like the perfect science people
Who?
have in fact, yeah, this weird group. They have in fact bought the house across from you.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, are they the ones buying up all the places?
yeah, it's their
Oh.
realty group.
Ooh,
So
I'll have to pray about whether or not I'll sell my house. I mean, like, do you think it's giving in to the devil to sell to people who don't worship Christ?
that's up to you. I mean,
Oh,
I certainly wouldn't associate
hmm.
myself with. I mean, they don't
Hmm.
even worship the Abrahamic God. It's all Xanadu and shit like that, or stuff like
Oh,
that. Excuse.
it, oh, it's okay. It's okay. When you talk about the devil, you need to spit him out of your mouth like lukewarm water.
Exactly. Well, I'm pretty sure that's all I wanted to ask you about was just
Okay.
if you'd seen any weird stuff or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
odd. And if you
Yeah.
don't mind, I'll have a quick look around your house just to make sure the
Oh,
vandalism.
of course. Yeah. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we pretty much think we got it. Um,
Okay.
seems like something about that house, the history of it is why they're buying it up. It's
Hmm.
nothing about any wealth or anything like that.
Oh. Hmm. And then you hear her kind of mumble to herself. She's like, "Oh, if I sell it, am I giving into evil? But on the other hand, if I sell it overvalue, then I'm taking away from evil."
Ask your priest or
Pastor,
pastor. I don't know.
pastor,
Yeah,
pastor. Yeah,
pastor.
yeah. All right. When you look around, there are no graffiti or carvings anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Where were the others going? I think Jimmy and Paul were next on my circle
Yeah.
around.
Did we want to swing by their recruitment center just to keep an eye on it?
Well,
We spot.
we just want to watch them. We don't want to
Oh
go
yeah,
in
we're
there
not.
because if we
Heck
go
no.
in, they'll get us.
Okay.
Or even just that this all escalates. They recognize us. Right now,
Right.
we are hopefully unknown to them. So yeah, I
All
think we
right.
watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a coffee across the street or something and
Yeah.
keep our eyes on it.
All right. Okay. So you look out there. They have a couple of college age kids outside handing out pamphlets. Here's a picture of one of them. So it looks like they got a pretty girl to pass out. Now, most of the time, most people are, just kind of brush by. It's a big city trying to advertise things they don't want to talk to. And but every once in a while, someone will stop and they start chatting with him, and they go inside into the large building.
Yeah, so they're using every trick in the book. Some new age religion.
Is there a parking lot connected to it?
It's downtown, so probably
No, no
not.
space.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they seem like they're just another, religious movement. I get the impression that they're all over the place.
Yeah,
So
they
how
likely have
cultish and I mean, these people don't look like they're worshiping the devil and
these
summoning
these
up
are
demons.
these are the level 1 initiates, so too, is that they have the freshest ranks out front. I'm sure their higher higher levels are probably inside.
Well, yeah, but it seems just on the outside like they're just trying to make money. That's all they're ever doing
Oh.
anyway, isn't it?
What I've heard is that they've got a few big names and bring in a lot of money to it.
There you go. And I mean,
But but look at her eyes. Like she's got some zeal as she's there. They're believing this. Like they're
yeah, but you know what? People can believe what they want to believe. So, I mean, I don't want to interfere in somebody's religious experience. We're just interested in knowing what happened to Carl,
the
how
question is,
Carl got there.
are they being taken advantage of though? Well,
It's
I guess
doesn't
that's on
seem,
them maybe, but
yeah, it doesn't seem like that's our problem. We go against the Mormon church or whatever. It is just we want to know what crazy person's kidnapped our friend and sent him to Antarctica where he was subsequently murdered. I think a lot's going to happen when we get that statue.
I think you're right, Paul. That seems to be a big center of this, and I think we're going to have to be ready for them to be coming for us at that point. But
so the son had to go. Okay, he might be a church leader, but he went after the office, broke in, smashed everything up, looking for something. What could he have been looking for? Now, he could have been looking for the statue, but what
we
if
know
he
one
was
thing
looking for
though,
something else?
and that is that he's considerably well off. So there's nothing financially he needed or anything. There was no motivation that was theft for the sake of taking something. It had to be intentional for the purpose of all whatever the hell's going on.
So, what would you look for if you broke into somebody's house? You'd look for valuables. You would look for evidence if they had
Yeah,
some evidence against you. Or I can't think of what else.
maybe the statue.
Well, that would be valuables if you were looking for something religious. Except that how would Carl
He had it
have
already.
some sacred statue for their cult? That doesn't make any sense either. What did Carl do as a
He was a PI.
he was a private investigator. So it's got to have something to do with somebody he was investigating. Unless he was investigating the cult and he found evidence against the cult.
That's the thing.
And
He phoned Tobias to gather all of us together, right? Or at least Tobias and Grace, but I don't know.
he
Yeah.
I've
found
spent years breaking into houses just to end up on trying to sell off VCRs and old TVs. And these guys just get people to believe it and they're opening their whole bank accounts to them.
yeah. I'm glad that you've turned a new cheek and you're not doing any kind of that stuff anymore.
You taught me a few tricks that we might make use of yet, but
Yeah. You've taught me a lot of tricks too, but I really don't care. So what is going on here? The son who was a wealthy religious. He had our private eye friend had something that the guy ransacked his office looking for.
Computer files. I mean, we know the computer was taken.
Right. The computer was taken.
And that makes sense. That's if they're looking for information, then.
I mean, the only thing I could think of where it would motivate them to do some horrible thing like that is financial records. Find out that the church has been skimming millions of dollars off of their followers.
Yeah.
But why would they kill him? I mean, that doesn't.
Something like that could sue him into the ground. I'm sure they could tie him up in litigation so deep that he'd never see daylight again. Yeah, it doesn't make sense unless it's something that would get attention of a lot of people.
And it had to have happened. Wait, we've got a time signature on when the office was broken into.
Mm-hmm.
Which I forget when it was. Was it 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
It was 4:30, and so
3.5 hours after we get the phone call.
And by that time they might know that Carl's out of the picture already. Maybe it was a cleanup operation more than anything, making sure they're. I don't know. Do we see anyone going in or out of the actual building? Just the standing on the. Okay,
yeah, there are people coming in, and not like a lot, but some people will, they seem to get interested in what she's talking about. They'll go in, and you do see some people that look like they didn't. She said hi to, like she knew it.
Right.
Any of them appear physically threatening or really
no bruisers going in,
or no bruisers, or thugs?
No, you don't see any bruisers going in.
No. Now, there's a chance that if evidence existed, that it might still exist. If Carl put evidence together, then we might also be able to put together the same evidence if we look in the right place. He was looking into those people, into that church, because of Diana, right?
And those houses on that street. It all
only because she was complaining about.
Yeah.
We got the plans. We can see.
What are the chances that would tie right back into his own son's little cult?
Well, it sounds like they want to buy all the houses in the cul-de-sac. What would be involved in making that into a gated community?
Well, once they get all the houses, then I guess they'd have the ability to just build it and no one would complain. I don't think anything else would be able to stop them.
I can't see anything wrong with that. I mean, if they're a religious bunch of nuts and they want to make a religious community, it's a free country.
Yeah.
I suppose it is.
All right.
Great. So I'm going to call Paul and see if they got anywhere with Jake.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right. Yep.
Oh. Where's my phone? Oh, there's my phone.
I can call Jimmy. It's easier.
Tobias.
Hi. The real estate guy. What?
I said was
the real estate guy is creepy and very much involved in pure science.
Okay. So
is the son a sleazebag who needs money for drugs?
We think the son is one of the leaders of this cult. He's got a fucking mansion, Sorry,
I'm gonna put you on speaker.
He's got like a fucking mansion with secretaries and people working for him and everything else. He wasn't there at the time that we get. At least they said that he wasn't there. They said he was downtown in the recruitment center. That's where we are now. But we're afraid to walk in the door.
Yeah, don't go inside. I mean, if we're going to infiltrate that place, we were invited too. We got a special invitation from a level 4, job.
We just can't figure out why this super rich guy.
Why did he raid his dad's office?
Why did he raid his dad's office?
It's got to be the statue, right?
But why do it himself?
Why wouldn't he have the statue already? Why would Carl have the statue?
Maybe he thought Carl had the statue.
Well, so Diana calls Carl Day. Carl Day looks into it, realizes that the cult that he lost his son to is involved. And then he gets in touch with Jake and says, I don't know, my boy, what have you gotten into or something?
Yeah.
And then the church brings down the hammer.
Okay.
You don't think that maybe we're looking at this, maybe me and Paul have been looking at this backwards and it's the other way around. And it's that son was trying to erase his connections to dad.
Hmm.
But again, son's got power and dad doesn't. Dad's doing divorce
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
You
son's
said a
got money.
mansion?
Yeah, a
Man, it's
mansion.
huge.
He owns a
Yeah.
mansion and a yacht.
Do you think he's responsible for Carl's death? Do you think that was his doing?
Well,
I
they
don't know. I
have
can't.
the church is international.
Yeah, but I can't figure out why the church would kill Carl
I don't
unless he
know.
found
That
some
it doesn't add
evidence.
up.
Well, Carl thought his life was in danger, right? He thought that they were willing to do anything to get a hold of this stuff.
What did he
This
say
thing.
to you, Tobias, when he called you? He was just saying he needed some help looking into this house. That's it?
Yeah, nothing had happened yet. He just called me because I know about, I think he thought the markings were like runic from
Okay.
Scandinavia or something. He was
Yeah.
just like, I'm looking into this strange cult stuff and you're a strange cult guy.
I think you'd
Okay.
mentioned
And he was
even
in
that.
no hurry, right? It was 1 o'clock and he didn't want to meet until
Yeah.
8. So he was going to do
meet
other work.
later. Yeah.
You
Well,
mentioned
that's
he
the-
even meant to send you stuff and never actually went through with it.
Yeah, I asked him to, right, and he was worried about texting and driving. Turns out heart attacks in Argentina after being transmogrified to the Antarctic are more dangerous.
Well, the weird thing is that he didn't seem particularly upset or horrified to me when he talked to me from Argentina
Well, he was probably on a lot of morphine.
on morphine. Yeah, but he'd
I mean, they
also
were going to take his
already been there
fingers,
for days.
right?
Does the Church of Perfect Science have a church in Argentina? In Argentina?
They do.
They're international.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
In fact, they probably like states that are more repressive and have greater
But why
income
did they
disparity.
care?
I mean, it would
Well,
seem
because
like if he had,
they're nuts and it's a magic thing, right?
I mean, like about Carl, like what was did he
I
get too
Carl
would think
close?
that Carl
Did he
would
find something out?
did he find some financial cheating they were doing? If they were mafia-like, maybe
Did he
they'd
like
kill him
threaten
for that.
them? I don't
I don't know.
It can only be something that either threatens them through exposure to their inner practices or something that they wanted, like the statue.
Well,
Well,
How the hell do you explain Antarctica? What is that?
it's worth, again, it's about opening yourself to time and space, right? And that's their secret teaching. Their public teaching is, oh, it's a metaphor. Oh, we're helping you learn tools for improving your positive outlook. But people who get out of it are like, no, they worship
Weird shit.
a
Alien
science
shit,
fiction
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Has
they
anyone-
want that they believe in the science fiction thing, but they need to keep a lid on it. And Carl's expendable. Carl with no fingers in an Argentinian hospital.
except that it calls attention to them. Did Carl break into their place and steal their little sacred statue or something?
Oh, that's interesting.
No,
But-
maybe he did.
But
He didn't say
how?
where he
I
was
mean,
driving to.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, he didn't give you any indication that he was onto something. And he didn't give me any indication that he was onto something. Just
No,
that
but he
had
wanted
this-
7 hours between when he called me and when we were going to meet by his office. So he
was
could have been
doing
driving
something.
anywhere, not Argentina or Antarctica, obviously, but he could have been driving to a cul-de-sac to meet, maybe he had a clue about how to pronounce the thing on the wall. Because that's, and by the way, the article, the description of that video, the one guy having just his hand in the entryway, doesn't that kind of sound like teleportation gone wrong?
Off.
The
Like,
woman's
got cut
totally
off.
gone, the guy's mostly gone, and there's just a hand.
Well, they said something about people disappearing in the house.
and other people disappearing,
They're in a
and
nice drift in
sensitive people going
Antarctica.
mad, which, like if there's, I mean,
I mean, there's been other. You're the occultist. You've heard
Yeah.
of places where they go in and they count the rooms, and there's 6 rooms, and then the next day there's 8 rooms, and then there's, the number of rooms in a house keep changing.
Right.
Speaking of which, did either of you hear from Dontel?
I was just about to ask. I thought he was with you too.
No, he headed out to the house to talk to Diana.
Uh-oh.
Well, maybe we should give him a call too.
All right. Yep. So one of you calls Dontel.
Just add him to this like
Add
four-way
him into
call.
the little call. However you can do that. My phone can do that, where you can have like 3 people.
Yeah.
Remember the day and age when you'd have to have multiple phones?
Oh god.
What of both ears?
Yeah,
Well,
with Dontel.
I will join in and just say, well, okay. So you're thinking that the hand comes from some sort of like, did you ever play like the video game Quake? No?
Yes.
I think so,
A
yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, and there was this sequel to it, Unreal Tournament. Yeah, that they used to have a thing where if you teleported wrong, you would occupy the same mass and it would just blow you up.
Yeah.
So that could have happened to him. I think you're on the right track there.
I think we need to get into that house.
Yeah. How do we get Mike and Barbara out of the house?
Distraction. Call them to the
Fire.
church somehow.
Give them a free vacation on a cruise
Fire.
to Puerto Vallarta.
Oh,
We're looking for shorter term than
When does
that.
the Church of Perfect Science have
Yeah.
services? Surely they attend.
Do they have services, or is it
don't know.
always?
Let me
Here-
look at.
They might do it on
Here's-
Sunday morning, same as everybody else, so that
here's something though. I think
Yep.
that you guys are wrong about the guy being rich. I think that the mansion could be like some sort of cult house, with a million different little dudes in it.
maybe,
Who
but
are-
it's listed as his residence. So
Yeah, and they were
Yeah.
deferential about it. They weren't like, oh yeah, Joey, his shift's at 4. They were like, no, you may not speak to Mr. Day. He's being processed.
I mean, he didn't look
Sounds
like
like-
a fancy dude when I saw him on the video. He looked like a normal guy.
Well, he was involved in breaking and entering,
All I'm saying is
which he shouldn't have been doing on his own.
we should maybe drop his name and see if he gets some reaction.
Madman.
I'm curious if what he was after was the stuff that you found in the safe. Was there
That's what I've
anything
been
in that
assuming.
that implies that they were skimming money off the top, or
Maybe he just wanted to break the connection between what his father was investigating and the church. He wanted to remove so that the authorities, such as they are, wouldn't realize
Okay.
that his disappearance, which will eventually be recognized perhaps as a death.
There's another angle to that too, is that what if we've been thinking that the cult sent him to Antarctica somehow. What if that's just an accident related to the house? And so he's got the statue that the cult's after, accidentally triggers something to send him to Antarctica 2 days before. Meanwhile, the cult's still here looking for the statue, breaks in, his son breaks in looking for it, can't find it. Then they somehow find out he's in Argentina. I'm not sure where that connection would come in though.
oh, he said they grabbed him and took him to a house. Maybe when they got him to the house and they were going to do something to him, he accidentally escaped through a wormhole.
Exactly.
I like
I
it.
think we can agree the house seems like it may very well be this house, though, and we need to get into it. I don't know about the wormhole thing, but
Well, it's Dontel's,
Yeah. All right. Where's everyone at? So Jimmy and Paul are kind of like at the coffee shop across the street from the
Yeah.
cult's welcome center. Dontel, where are you at?
I'm just getting a butter burger.
Okay, yeah. All right. And
my God.
Tobias and Grace. Some Culvers.
Sounds like we may have been in like the car outside
Yeah.
of this real estate place.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Paul and Jimmy, give me a spot hidden.
This might be our moment. 20. So that is hard
That's
success
bad.
here.
That is bad. Okay.
55 is not good.
You see exiting out of the center. You see Barbara. You recognize her from the video that Grace had set up. She's walking along, and walking beside her is Jake, and they're talking, and they're headed to about a block down. There's a parking garage, and they're headed toward that.
Paul. Okay. Oh, that's Barbara and him.
She's with Jake.
That's Barbara Watson with Jake Day. So they. Okay.
I'm texting everybody back really quick.
I think they're headed to that garage. I'm going to try to follow them.
Yeah, let's get in our car and try and follow them carefully.
Okay.
I'm probably the closest because I was just there.
All right. Okay. So you guys get in your car and you let Dontel know. Dontel, what are you going to do?
I'm heading back immediately.
Okay. All right. Where are you going to park your car?
So is it like there's cover where I could park my car like a block away? Or
There's street park. It's a suburb, so yeah, you could park it on the street. Okay, no problem. All right. Paul, who's driving between Paul and Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. I'll drive. Keep an eye out. Yeah, we might need you to run out and.
Okay, so you're trying to follow them?
Yeah, gonna try and tail them without them noticing.
Inconspicuously? Okay. Give me a combined drive, and stealth.
Okay, so I got 45 in drive and 75 in stealth.
All right, so you gotta beat that for.
Okay, and I got 84. I am willing to spend luck on this. I will.
Well, you gotta spend 39 to pass that drive.
Oh, jeez.
That's a lot of luck. You could also push it.
What did we fail? Yeah. Stealth or
you failed both?
So apparently I lean out the window and I go, "Hey Barb, hey Jake."
just as I hit the horn and start looking at them. I'm gonna push it.
All right. If you fail, they're obviously going to notice you, and when you try and do something, you're going to bump into a police car.
Oh, shit! With an old lady in it. Yeah.
All right.
So, Paul, it's probably a bad time to tell you that I really can't have them look in our trunk. But
do you have a dead hooker in there again?
Again?
Okay. 21.
All right. Yeah. You
hard success on both.
Okay. Yeah, you are able to follow them. Dang. They go back to the house, Dontel, where you see, it takes a bit. It's like a 35-minute drive and stuff, but you do see the Barbara and Jake pull up to the house.
The closer we get to residential, the more I'm going to back off, and we kind of get the idea. Okay, that's
the hard. You're good.
Would I have arrived? Would I have arrived before they arrived?
Oh yeah.
We would also be able to surmise that they're going towards the residence, so we'll tell everybody where they're going.
If the house was empty,
there was still that car in the driveway, and you did see.
We think Michael's home.
If the house was not empty, then I'm not going to break it.
Okay, all right. And what's Tobias and Grace doing?
I don't know. I thought we'd get some Ethiopian and just let these idiots keep us informed?
Yeah, yeah, I don't
Okay.
want to get in my way.
Watch
All
what to
right.
expect when you're expecting.
Yeah, classic. All right.
Trying to think
I-
of a way that we can pull these people away from their house. Like maybe we can brainstorm
Yeah.
some ideas there.
Okay. All right. All right. So we'll come back to you guys. Paul, Jimmy, and Dontel. I assume Jimmy, you park about a block away. Maybe you park next to Dontel's car. You recognize his beater. Okay. All right. What would you like to do?
Is Dontel sitting in the vehicle?
Are you?
I was probably scoping out the house.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we could just watch them go inside and wait until Jake leaves. I assume Jake doesn't live there, so
Yeah.
once Jake's alone,
We can kidnap him.
I wish we had a reason to do that, but
All right.
you
Where
wanna
are you?
kidnap-
Where are you guys putting yourself up to watch?
Oh boy, it's a cul-de-sac, isn't it?
Yep.
Is there a bus stop or anything like that around?
No.
Nothing.
Can we were they in Jake's car? No, were they
Nope.
in
They were in Barbara's car. Yeah.
So how is Jake going to leave unless one of them takes him? We could sit down at the end of the cul-de-sac because the only way
Mhm.
to drive out is past us.
All right.
I wanna hide in the yard of one of the abandoned houses.
Okay. Give me a stealth with a bonus die.
All right. My stealth is pretty good. Oh. Oh, I needed the bonus die. Yeah,
Good.
pass.
All right.
The other
Okay.
one was
And
99.
oof. Yeah. Glad. Okay. And the other two, you guys are going to kind of be at the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's no way to drive out without, let's see who drives
All right.
out.
I d-
What's this
Yes, sir.
street look like? Is there people around here? Is there more Global Realty signs or nothing? Like,
No. No.
Hmm.
So Dontel, because you're closer to the house, you can hear. You can't give me a listen roll to see if you can understand it.
All right. Okay, 41. What is my listen? Oh, 50. Yeah, I got it.
All right.
I got my ear horn out.
Yeah. Coming from the attic, you hear a man's voice raised. He goes, "Damn it! Tell me how this works for the last time. It keeps taking me to the same place." And you hear a woman just start laughing at him. And he's like, "You're dealing in things you can't possibly understand." He goes, "This is your last chance. If you don't tell me by tomorrow, I'm going to start removing your nails." And then you see, all three of you see a blue ambient light come out of the attic window.
oh shit. Text
Okay.
Dontel. You see that?
I'm going to say kidnapping victim in the attic.
All right. And we'll close out with Tobias and Grace. You guys are sitting at the Ethiopian Cafe. And let's find this page here. A young man in his early 20s, he's walking down the street. He stops, and you see he kind of gets a confused look on his face. And he looks over at you, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's you. I've seen you in my dreams. Where are the other three?
Sorry.
You, you're real." He's like, I kept dreaming I met you, and I was supposed to give you this, and he gets out a piece of paper that he hands over to you.
2481 98104 7725 99182.
Exactly. Yeah. He said when the time was right, you would know what to use that for.
Do you know when the time will be right?
I don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I never thought that. I just thought it was a dream, but I would have it every night, and I just decided to write it down.
And when you say he said it, do you know who it was that was appearing
Oh,
to you?
it's just some force, some force of nature. But I just I didn't want to call it because it seemed like it was smart enough.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, it's him.
Will you, I've got a pen here. You can sign the back of it and give me your phone number in case we learn
Uh,
more.
Oh, of course, of course. My name's David Beres. And then he writes his phone number down. He goes, I just can't believe it. He's like going, huh? He's like, does the South Pacific mean anything to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I just keep saying that in my dreams. I'm on an island, and that's when I get these numbers. But you know, it's weird. I mean, just I guess a glitch in the matrix, right?
Right.
Everything means something,
All right.
friend.
All right. Hey, thank you. And he kind of steps back, and a bus comes along and hits him. And you guys can make a sanity roll.
I
no
do not
bus
handle that
drivers.
well. Fail.
Yep.
1d4 if you fail, 1 if you pass.
Just the one.
It's another fail.
All right.
Oh, 4.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that was rough. Maybe his hand kind of like landed on your dish or something. And that's where we'll close out for the evening.
All right. Our players included Max Meltzer, David Gasaway, Holly Buto, Mike McKinnon, myself, with Keith Craig as the keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you would like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page listed in the description, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.